Hi, fifth grade families. My name is Bridget Hrabe, and I'm going to be your child's fifth grade teacher for this year. Let me just start out by saying how thrilled I am to be starting another successful fifth grade year together. I have been teaching fifth grade for over 20 years now. And so you can rest assured that there isn't much that a fifth grader can throw my way that I haven't already experienced or seen. And to be honest, embraced. Fifth graders are at a great time in their development as far as still starting or still being young, but wanting to start to kind of show some of their independence, show who they are, and really digging deep and finding what makes them special, what makes them unique, things that they're good at, things that they aren't good at. And I love to be a part of guiding them through that process. So I want to thank you for the privilege of trusting me for being your fifth grade teacher this year. I'm sure that your fifth grader has some anxiousness about how things are going to go, and always, every year, even no matter how long I've been doing this, I do too. But I know everything is going to be great, and I know that we're going to enjoy the time that we spend together. I have been teaching at St. Ambrose. I started teaching here when we opened our doors in 2000. Took some time off from about 2006 till about 2010, and then came back after my kids were a little bit older. So always a wonderful place to be back. I've worked with Ellie Marish, the other fifth grade teacher, since the beginning of St. Ambrose, and of course have the honor to teach with Stephen Schmitz, the other fifth grade teacher as well. So I've just prepared a small slideshow. I wish that we were doing this together. I wish that you were sitting here in our classroom with me. I'm much more of a in-person type teacher. That's what I think teaching is all about, is that we get to connect with people that we feel close to and that we bond with. But this is going to have to do. Of course, if you have questions, of course, if something is confusing, if I haven't made something clear in my explanation, my door is always open. So please come and visit or shoot me an email, and I'm happy to help with anything. So I have a bit of a presentation here, and I will just keep going through. Welcome to Fabulous Fifth Grade. Classroom expectations. So I have our expectations, of course, as being pretty basic. As I said to you in my note on Friday, it is the most important thing for me that your child feels safe in our environment, that your child feels heard in our environment, that your child knows that this is a place where they can come and be respected, that they can learn, that they can really kind of try and find themselves making mistakes all through the way. And that exactly is how we learn. And so this is a place where they can come, make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and then leave those in the past after moving and be ready to move forward. And so that is something I feel like if that doesn't happen, then the learning isn't going to happen either. So I spend a lot of time with my students doing virtue circles, doing community building, and not to say, of course, that the academic isn't really obviously always kind of spearheading what I'm doing, but the academics are not going to feel natural and organic unless that a child can actually feel safe in the four walls that they spend 9 months learning in. Knowing that we have their back and knowing that this is where they can come and be supported. So that's something that is very, very, very important to me. And the students, I think, are getting that as well. My next slide is Communication. Communication, the fastest way to reach me, which some of you already have found, is through email. Email is something that I check often during the day. So if something changes, if a plan changes, if a child needs to be released early, of course you can talk to the office about this, but of course you can always email me. I can't guarantee when I'm up with the students and when we're doing activities here that some days I'm checking it more often than others, so I will do my best. You can also, of course, call Mrs. Seidenkrantz in the main office, and she can let me know if you need anything. Friday folders come home every Friday, just like they did last Friday. I more wanted to get your fifth grader into the routine of bringing that home. I know that there weren't very many papers in there. This week in Friday folders, I will send home kind of paper copies of what we talk about. There's going to be a Star of the Week schedule, which I'll talk about here in just a few minutes. There's going to be a few other things that you might want to look through, highlight in your own convenience and time, and then let me know if anything doesn't look like something that you might understand, and I'm happy to help. Those Friday folders, if you could have those back signed on either Monday, or I give them until Tuesday to get those signed as well. And it does sort of count as a homework assignment, just teaching that responsibility of getting something home, getting something signed, and getting something returned. So thank you for your help in that. Weekly happenings. We switch for math every day, and this is the first time that the students are going to switch to different teachers for math. In my experience in doing this, this works out well for everyone. And I know sometimes people or parents, we get protective of the ones that we love the most. And so is it hard for them to maybe switch from a class that they maybe wanted to be in? And I do need to assure you that it is quite the opposite, that once students settle into the classroom that they've been placed, it feels really good. They can actually relax a little bit, move at a pace that feels good to them. They can move quickly if that's what they're ready for. They can move a little bit slower and break it down if that's what they need. And the people around them need the exact same thing. And that feels really good and assuring, knowing that what you're doing is exactly what you should be doing at that point, that you don't have somebody moving really quickly or somebody that feels like they're dragging you down. And I really feel like it is an opportunity for the students to find who they are in their math brain, knowing that some of those leaders that maybe weren't leaders in the past because they weren't given the opportunity really do surface and step up to the occasion. So I will tell you that it is something that really is a positive. Letters will be coming home this Friday in Friday folders explaining what class your child is in. Those are fluid classes, or can be fluid classes. If we see a student that's on the bubble that needs to either go from one class to another for any particular reason, that is not, it's not set in stone. This is something that we look at, we reflect on, and make changes if necessary. Spelling, we have a pre-test on Mondays. We have a post-test on Thursdays. Students that pass their pre-test on Mondays do not need to take Thursday's test. That can be a motivator that students can study for their spelling test. I send the words home in my Friday news note every Friday. They can use that time to master those words because I don't give homework over the weekends. And if other students just want to take a glance or go into the pre-test cold and get an idea of, okay, during this week, what are the words that I need to study? We approach it at all different ways, and just knowing then that second assessment on those same words is going to be happening on Thursday. um, introduction to a vocabulary, and our story happens throughout the week. And then we have a vocabulary test and comprehension test over the skill of the week as far as grammar goes, as far as comprehension of the story, and then of those vocabulary words. So as soon as we start getting in our rhythm, that's going to be more and more landing on the shoulders of your fifth grader, rather than having it be something you need to be actively involved in. But just know that that's sort of the structure of our week as we move along through our curriculum. Star of the week, as I mentioned, that will be coming home this Friday. It is just a schedule of when your child will be star of the week, and it just allows kids, I know that they've done this in the past, but I tell you, they really just like learning more about each other. They might not have been in a class with somebody in particular, and really a recognition of you get to change and grow and redefine who you are from year to year. And so I think it's special when kids bring in things that make them who they are, make them unique. Even if it's something they brought in fourth grade, not everybody saw it, or not everybody heard the story, or maybe not everyone was listening to the story. So I really like kids to have the opportunity to shine, because at school, maybe we shine in academics or we shine in athletics, but sometimes if a child collects stamps or really has a love for travel, some of those things are a little bit harder to come out, and it gives them an opportunity to shine in those things as well. So there's a list of things. One of the things involved is a parent letter, and that usually happens on Thursday. You cannot do the parent letter wrong. I've had pictures, I've had poems, I've had just really sweet paragraphs. So anything that you want to say about your child is really special, and that'll be explained more in the letter that it comes home in Friday folders this coming Friday. Field trips. We already have our first field trip at the end of September, fingers crossed with COVID. The buses are letting us reserve buses. The kids will have to be masked on the bus, just like they would normally be masked if your child is transported to and from school. We are going to go to the nature center. Right now we're studying animal adaptations, and so we'll be visiting the nature center. A part of the fifth grade curriculum is Minnesota history, which of course, living here in the city takes us to some really wonderful spots, Fort Snelling or the Historical Center. We do a lot of really, really fun things as a fifth grade group. And so if any of you are interested in chaperoning, we can always use extra hands. Small groups are wonderful on field trips, and more eyes and ears and hands and helping are also very welcomed on field trips. But just make sure that you've gone through that Virtus training. That's a mandatory training. Anybody that has direct contact with our students needs to have gone through that training. So thank you in advance for that. Snacks. We do have some allergies in our classroom, so if you can make snacks friendly, knowing that we do have some students with some special dietary restrictions, and also keeping snacks semi-healthy. What I've seen over the past days have been wonderful. It doesn't have to be only fruits and vegetables. Throwing a bag of Cheez-Its and calling it a snack at my house is doing well, but as Halloween creeps around, avoiding the fact that my snack is a Kit Kat or a lollipop. That would be wonderful if it got reinforced at home. Sometimes kids bring a whole box of like Nutri-Grain bars, put them in the bottom of their locker so that they always have that snack if they forget in the morning or could be forgetful in a busy morning. That's something to be kind of just advice that has worked in the past. I really do feel like it's going to be a fantastic year. I feel like that there are some question marks with how the rest of the year will progress. It will leave us a little bit maybe of a mystery. But one thing that I do feel confident with in the days that I have spent with your students or with your children, that We are already developing wonderful relationships, not only between teacher and student, but student to student. I know that those will continue to strengthen as we spend our time together. And I'm confident that it's going to be a wonderful fifth grade year. I am here as a part of your team. So nothing that you can ask of me is too big or too small. I'm here for you. I'm here for your fifth grader, and I'm so looking forward to a wonderful year. So thank you and have a great day.